Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Susie Q Stamping 3 on Thursday. I am Sue Sanders, and I am from the Lake Ozark, Eldon area in central Missouri. And today we are going to make 3 fabulous fun cards. And I just want to remind everybody that we only have 5 more days until the new catalog launches. I am super, super excited. Here's the front of the catalog. It's got a beautiful picture of a new stamp set, and I cannot wait until you all can see the inside of this beautiful catalog. So, today we're going to be working with some discontinued paper, basically because I want to show you how you can get rid of the discontinued paper so that you have more room for your new paper. But before we get to our cards, let's give a shout out to Cherie Myers, who is the winner of last week's cards that we made. And this was with the Slice It, or the Stack It, Slice It, and Shuffle card way of making cards. So that is a technique that I did last week. And this lucky person will get 4 cards versus 3. Because out of those 4 sheets of paper that we cut up, you were able to make 4 different cards. So these are birthday cards and thank you cards. So congratulations, Cherie, on winning those 4 cards and commenting on the video. So remember, if you comment on my video personally about the cards or what you've been doing in your life, then you will have an opportunity to win those cards. So, hello, Cindy McGee and Teresa Jackson. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's get right to our first card. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever used a one-sheet wonder pattern, but that's what we're going to use today on 2 of our cards. This is not my idea. It is not my design. This is from jesscrafts.com. So she had a couple of 6x6 patterns.
Teresa's not seeing anything.
Okay. Terry, go ahead and refresh your screen. And that might help you to see what's going on. Okay. Okay, because it might be on your end, because we're seeing everything okay here. So anyway, what the deal is was we take a 6x6 piece of paper, and I would suggest using an old piece that you don't really care if it gets messed up. Okay, I'm using the Simply Marvelous paper. Simply because I love this side, because this side to me is like really bold and all that. But when you cut it up into a 6x6 one-sheet wonder, then good, I'm glad you got to see the picture now, Terry. Then it brings a whole new look to the card. So let me show you the card, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how we're going to cut that paper. So this is the card that I made using the paper. And so that marble, this side over here, doesn't look so powerful and so bang, get you out there when you have it on a card like such. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how easy it is to cut a 6x6 piece of paper. So I've got my trimmer here. All right, and Pat's on, and Cherie's on. Good. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our 6x6 and we are going to cut it at 3 inches in half. So we're going to cut our 6x6 in half. So this is going to give us 2 cards. Then we're going to cut a 3 by 2 2 1/4. I'm sorry, 2 1/4. So here is our, let's see, this is going to be our 3-inch. So we're going to cut that piece. And then this should be 2 1/4. And I think I sliced it wrong, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. So here is our 3 by 2 1/4. Now I'm going to take this other piece that measures 3 inches, and we're going to cut it at, yeah, I did this wrong. Why did I do this wrong? I had it all worked out in my head. Because it needs to be 3 3/4. So let me see what I did here. I'm going to grab another piece of paper, gals. And because it works out, I promise. Sometimes my mind is just boggled. Okay, so I'm going to cut it again at my 3 inch. So there's my 3 inch. And I'm following my diagram, and I am going to cut it at 3 3/4. I think that's where I messed up. So I'm going to cut it at my 3 3/4. Okay, that leaves me these two pieces. This piece here should measure 3 inches by 2 1/4. Okay. So that's what this piece is. We need one of those. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to cut it at 1 1/2 inches. So basically we're cutting that piece in half. So there's our 3 pieces for that. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut it at 3 3/4 this way. That's going to leave us our 3 by 2 1/4 piece. And then we're going to cut this piece in half at 1 1/2. Okay, so there's our 6 pieces for this card. All right, now this is using a different color, but as you can see, it will change the perspective on how you use which side of the paper. So right there, I can make 2 separate cards and have them any kind of cards you want. Okay, you can do it landscape or you can do it portrait if you want. All right, so if you are interested in 6x6 one sheet wonder templates, then I suggest you can go out to Pinterest and type in a search 6x6 one sheet wonders, and
I told him you would take a picture of it and text it to him.
Okay, well, you can. I will do that, but I'm not taking credit for this template because I did not create it. I don't feel like I want to create something that's already been created, so I use other people's templates for my one sheet wonders. Okay, so we'll set that aside, but I will take a picture of it and post it out there, giving Jessica the credit for that. Okay, so now let's go on and let's make this card. Okay, and I used Gorgeous Grape for my layer, and I embossed it with the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. So I've already got that done. Those are my notes. Y'all don't need to see my notes so that I don't forget things. I did take a 5.5 by 8.5 sheet of the thick basic white for my card base. It gives me just a little bit more stability to it. And I'm really creasing that crease down so that it's going to lay flat for me. All right, so there's our card base. And then I have my 2 pieces that are the 1.5 by 3 and my piece that is 3 by 2 1/4. And I have cut mats then that measure out at 1 3/4 by 4, and one that is 3 1/4 by 2 1/2 for my fresh freesia. Okay. Yes, Cindy, the time-worn type is one of my favorites because it goes with so many things. And here is the embossed piece that I did. Now, it does have a direction that you got to make sure that you use. Otherwise, your words are going to be kind of backwards. Not that you can really see the words, but people look at it close enough and they can see it. So let's go ahead and get our papers laid down here. And I'm just using my liquid glue and my precision point bottle. I always find that this bottle is easiest for me, so I don't get too much glue on my paper. And then you want to center that as close to it as you can get. And sometimes my little eyes are a little bit off, so let me scooch that over a little bit. And I may have to stand up so that so I can see it straight on since the camera's farther away. So that's one piece done. And here's our second. These cards go together really fast, so you could cut up a whole bunch of 6x6 paper and work up a bunch of cards to give as a gift set. And you can use this with any kind of designer series paper. And what I really like about Stampin' Up's DSP is that it's double-sided. And so that makes it easy. Now I am going to take and stamp our greeting, and it comes from the Happiest of Birthdays. I believe this is staying in, but I can't be 100% sure. I forgot that I didn't have my block out here. So it's your day. Enjoy it. And I'm going to stamp that right onto the front of my designer series paper. And I'm going to use my Memento Black. I tried it with several different colors, like with the Gorgeous Grape, and it kind of blended too much into that marble. So I'm going to go ahead and use our Memento Black. And I'm just going to stick it and stamp it right in the center of that. It's a nice bold stamp. And now I can attach this to my layer of fresh freesia. So I know that you all won't have your new catalogs the day they launch. However, I do encourage you to go out to my website, and you can get there at by going through my blog or just typing in Susie Q's stamping .stampinup.org, I believe. I always get it mixed up. I'd have to look.
SusieQstamping.com.
SusieQstamping.com. And then you can get the link to my online store and take a look at the new catalog digitally until you get your new hard copy. I am having such a hard time lining things up, ladies. Hi, Mary. I'm glad you were able to join us this afternoon. We are using a one-sheet wonder layout for 2 of our cards. I'm now going to glue our embossed piece. And this is Gorgeous Grape, and this is cut at the 4 by 5 1/4. And I usually like to use my glue for my embossed pieces because that glue will kind of ooze into those little crevices and make it stick a lot better. And I'm usually quite generous whenever I'm using it on an embossed piece, simply because I think that it holds better. So let's lay this down as straight as I can get it. Oh, I know today has been kind of dreary, although the sun has come out and then it's gone away. And see, I didn't get that straight because I was looking over at something else. And I have become a real pro at pulling paper off. Let me tell you. You can do it. It just takes time. You don't want to just rip. And it's harder because I'm having to place myself way over into my table more so than when I stamp. So then what I did, and I need to grab I just used my mat from the Stamparatus to give me a line so that I can tell where I can center my cover up my black ink. So I know that this is the 5.5 mark, and I want to make these come in. I think I made them come in about 5/8 of an inch. So we're going to, and it's going to go from top to bottom on our gorgeous grate. Okay, and once you get it started, then you can kind of bring them in so that you can eyeball it and make sure that you've got an even space, because then this is going to get laid on your card. So that looks pretty good to me. So I'm really liking to get into some easy cards to use at my DSP. And I'm sure that many of you have even more DSP than I do. I have been getting rid of it. And I have to concentrate and not talk so much whenever I'm placing these so that I make sure I do get them straight. I'm the type of person that can't necessarily chew gum and walk at the same time, because I'd end up tripping over my feet. But it is one of the ways that you can use up your beautiful designer series paper is by doing these one sheet wonders. And you can also do it with cardstock by using the one sheet wonders. I know at one time I had a whole bunch of cardstock cut at certain sizes for one sheet wonders. Alright, now if you wanted to, you could go ahead and you could pop this up with some dimensionals, but because I like to save money on my mailings and I would rather have embellishments like, oh, I don't know, beads or something like that, a bow maybe, sometimes I don't dimensionalize. You like that word? It's a Susanism. To cost extra to mail just a simple basic card. So this is a birthday card, of course, and so on the inside I am going to stamp. Wash this off real quick. If y'all could see my chamois, it is so well loved. And this is my second one. See how dirty it is, but I still love it. It works. So on the inside of this card, I am going to put wishing you the happiest of birthdays. So this is a real simple card. This can be for a female, but it could also be for a male, depending on what colors you use. And some men like purple. But we have a lady at church that her favorite color is purple. And so I'm already figuring, okay, I'm going to go ahead and send Maxine this card because she loves the color purple. And for the inside of this, I did use the Gorgeous Grape. Miss Assistant, it's in the blue box up there. I put it away because I thought, oh, I don't need that. Yes, this stamp set, this Happiest of Birthdays, I think it's staying in. I will look that up before we get finished here, because I like this big, bold, wishing you the best or the happiest birthday. I really like that bold. It takes up a lot of space, so you don't have to worry about it. You can use it on the front of your card or on the inside of your card. Okay, Happiest of Birthdays is being retired. I'm huffing on my stamp. So if you want this stamp set, you need to put in an order before the 3rd of May when our new catalog comes out and releases. But I do like this big, bold birthday. So I'm going to center it, and I'm going to really put pressure on it so that I get a good... And I probably should have done this with the Stamparatus, but I should get a good impression for you, okay? It looks like I may need to re-ink my Gorgeous Grape. But that is card number 1 for us today, okay? Very simple, very quick, and you can do it with any colors. So I really kind of like that Merry Marvelous, simply because it's got 2 sides, and it kind of breaks up that real wild side. It tones it down a little bit. Okay. So how many of you have that Happiest of Birthdays set? Give me a thumbs up or a shout out to see if you've got it, because it really is a nice set, ladies. You've got a belated birthday. You've got a little square that says Happy B-Day. It's your day, enjoy it, and then wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And like I said, if you don't have this set, I believe it's like $17 or $18. $19, I'm sorry. And it is on page 66 of our current catalog. So it's a good set to have to make quick birthday cards for people that are not real close friends, but you want to give them a card. All right, so our second card, I'm not going to use the same paper that, well, I used the same paper because I was able to get 2 cards out of the Merry Marvelous, okay? So that was, so remember, out of your one sheet wonder, you can get 2 cards made out of it. The next one that we're going to do is a little bit different for the one sheet wonder with the 6x6. We're going to cut it a little bit different. Oh, sorry about that, ladies. I just knocked my camera and got things all messed up. Let me get it straightened out again. Get mine. Okay, Terry, yes, it is a very good stamp set to have for birthday greetings, for being late and all that. So this is the second one that we're going to make with the one sheet wonder. And this, we're going to cut the paper a little bit different. You'll see that we're actually going to have 4 pieces to place on our card front. Again, this is from jesscrafts.com. She has lots of different papers in her series. And for this one, I'm going to use one of our 6x6 New Horizon papers. And so this is the back side, and this is the front side. And I'm kind of wanting to be, I want this side to be orientated like this, because I want my strips to go portrait on my card, I believe. Let's see. It doesn't really matter. So let's cut it like this. So again, we're going to cut it at the 3.5. I'm going to cut it this way. And then we are going to cut a 3x2. So we're going to cut a 2-inch piece. Then we are going to cut a 1-inch piece, a 1x3. And if you're coming to my workshop in May, there's a new technique I'm going to be showing that day on how you can cut some paper and make some beautiful cards that Cherie shared with me. And I watched the video of the demonstrator, or well, she's not a demonstrator, she works for another company for herself. Okay, so now what I'm going to do so that we get a different effect is I'm going to cut this piece at the 3x2 so that I have this design. And then I'm going to cut my 3x1s. So I have a 3x1, three by 1.5, and then this leaves us a 3 by 1.5. Okay, now I'm not making the cards out of this because I did want to just show you how to cut these, but I will lay it out on a card base so that you can kind of see how it would look. So you can lay this out either. It's our big piece. That's not the piece I want there. This piece, and this piece, and then this piece would go across, or you can use this side. Okay? And that's how you would lay it out directly on a card base. But let me show you a couple of cards, and then the card we're going to make today for you all, and how I laid it out. And like I said, this can be used with any kind of designer series paper. So this is an example of one of the cards that I made using this layout. I did layer it with a 1/4 inch larger piece, and then my paper happened to have this nice area up here that I could stamp directly on. And then on the inside it says, wishing you a little extra happiness. And this is from the Pansy Patch stamp set, and that is staying in the catalog, so I'm happy about that because I love that greeting. So that is an extra card that I just wanted to show you. But this is the card we're going to duplicate today. And one reason I did this was because it looks like a masculine card to me. Even though we have some blue and purple shades here, it still looks masculine. And I'm always at a loss myself for making masculine cards. And so I thought, well, this would be a very easy masculine card to put together. I went ahead and did my stamping on this. So the inside greeting says, to a person who still got it but might not remember where they put it. And that is also a set that is being retired after this catalog. And I love these sayings. Everything is figure-outable. I hate to break it to you, but you're stuck with me. Friends forever. I'm sorry for what I said when I was hangry. So this is a really fun set to have. To use. So again, this one is being retired come the 2nd of May. And this one is in the annual catalog, but I failed to write down what page and how much it was. So anyway, so this is going to be our inside greeting. We're going to go ahead and attach that. I am using my Evening Evergreen as my card base, and it is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So it's a long portrait card. I think I have to fill my bottle up with glue again. So we'll get out the mega bottle here. Sometimes I don't have the patience to wait for that little tiny tip. And that's okay, because on a bigger cardstock like this, I can use the regular bottle. So we're going to lay this down in here flat. So the inside is done. Now let's go ahead, and I've already stamped "Wishing You So Much Happiness" on our one piece of designer series paper. And it's kind of nice if your paper, if it works out that you've got like a white area, because it gives you that area then that you can stamp directly on and not have to worry about it being so lost. Okay, so here's one of our next pieces that we're going to matte, and I am using Smoky Slate for my matte layers.
Did you say this set was retiring?
The Lighthearted Lines is retiring. The On the Horizon stamp set is not. So the Wishing You So Much Happiness will still be in the 22-23 annual catalog. So what is retiring, Cherie, is the Lighthearted Lines. Okay. Now here's my other piece of my designer series paper. And so we're going to glue it. I don't know about you all, but for those that are signed up for my May 14th stamp class, I am so looking forward to it. I've got 2 orders coming in, one on Monday, one on Tuesday, that's going to have some of our supplies. And then as soon as, oh, dear me, that's all right, we'll work it out. I actually used the wrong side and put glue on the wrong side of my paper, but this is the centerpiece, so it will be fine. Now we're going to stack our paper, and I'm going to use the yellow kind of towards the top to make it kind of look like the sun. And this one here, not a lot of it shows, so I'm not real concerned because the other side was basically all white. It didn't have any color really to it. So we're going to go ahead and lay down our pieces here. So, like I said, come Tuesday, yeah, the Tuesday's the 3rd, I am going to be up bright and early and putting in our order for our designer series paper, which I was not able to order yet, as well as our gems that you will all get in your goodie box. I have all my little boxes made for you. I'm getting the spots in and the ink refills for our new ink colors. So we'll be working on getting those filled up. Dorothy is going to be starting to put together our stamp sets. And I am anxious. I have quite a few little fun things besides the cards for you all to try out. Cherie is going to teach us a technique, and I'm excited about that technique because it's really fun. Okay, here again, if you choose, you could pop this up with pop dots. I am not, simply because with everything else, I want to start conserving my resources. And if I pay more for postage, that means I have less to pay for product. So there is card number 2. Now you could take and put birds up here at the top if you want. You could do more embellishments if you want. I just kind of liked it very simple and plain, especially for a man's card. So there is card number 2. And I did say, like I said, I used Wishing You So Much Happiness from the On the Horizon stamp set. And, no, this one is retiring. On the Horizon is retiring, is it not? I believe it is. Maybe it's just the paper that's retiring and we're keeping the ocean front. I'm thinking this one is retiring. Yes.
Ocean front is staying.
Ocean front is staying, but On the Horizon is going away. Which makes me sad because I really like On the Horizon. Alright, so the next card that we're going to make, ladies, I wanted to introduce you to some of the beautiful new DSP paper. And this is from the Hues of Happiness. And I kind of debuted it when I first got it in. This is not my full pack. I can't find my pack. I don't know what I've done with it. But you do get beautiful papers with this. And then, of course, on the back side, it's like a watercolor wash. So the patterns kind of variegate in your colors. And I think they're so, so pretty. We're going to actually be using this piece today. And there is a stamp set and a die that I believe will cut out these flowers. I haven't got those yet. And I love this on that dark navy background. Maybe this is my full pack and I just happened to throw away my cardboard that told me what colors matched it. Because then when you flip them over, all of them have the wash on the back side, except for 2 of them. They have little flowers and then little X's. So this is going to be a fun paper pack. I am waiting until I can order the rest of the paper packs to get my paper shares. And because there is so much new paper in this catalog, I may split it into 2 different months and have 1 month as a certain number of paper pack shares and then a second month of another paper pack share so that it's not quite as expensive for anybody. So this is the third card that we're going to make. And this was very easy again. I used the Hive 3D embossing folder for our background, and that is basic white. Then I took a piece of the Designer Series paper, and I'm just going to show you what it cuts up to be and how you cut it. And you can get 2 cards out of this as well. This Designer Series paper is measured at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. All right, you are going to line up corner to corner from here to here on your trimmer. And then you're going to slice it. You want to make sure that you don't move your corners out of your trimming track. Okay, that gives you the 2 triangles that you will need to make your card. Okay, and you could even use it on this side, which would be really kind of pretty. For my card base, I am using a thick basic white that measures 5.5 by 8.5. So that is our card base. Give it a little bit more of a burnish here with our bone folder. Alright. Then I used our new, well, it's not new, it's staying in the catalog. It was actually in the mini catalog, and it's returning in our annual, and that is the beautiful shape dies. And so they have these hexagons that layer. And then they also have, I really thought this was kind of cool when I was playing around with it today. It has a die, let me get it out of here, that actually cuts 2 of the hexagons at one time. Okay, so I cut 2 of the hexagons at one time. And then it has another die that's a little bit larger, but what it does is it actually cuts out the half hexagons. So it's very easy to put together a border using these hexagons because you have these half ones that you can fill in with. They've also done that with the diamonds. So this one here, I haven't played a whole lot with it, but okay, Terry, you're asking what was the actual name of the birthday set that's retiring? It is called birthdays. Let me pull it. Let me see where I've laid it here on my desk, Terry. Where did I put it? Good question. I will find it before we close out. Oh, there it is. Happiest of Birthdays. That's the name of the set. And you can find it right now in the annual catalog on page 66. Okay. My assistant is typing in the name of it right now into the chat. So you'll be able to see that and write it down. Okay. So this is another really cool set. And it goes...
It's not letting me type anymore.
Okay, for some reason it's not letting us type.
Let me try something else.
It goes and it coordinates with the Hello Beautiful stamp set. And so we're going to be using this stamp set along with those dies. So I want to get more into playing with this because I've always thought building hexagon borders is really kind of cool. Yes, Terry, happiest of birthdays on page 66. And it is $19. Okay. So the first thing that I did was I cut my paper. And I have I'm using Flirty Flamingo for my mat. And so that measures at 4 1/4 by 5. I'm sorry, 4 by 5 1/4. And then my piece of basic white that I have embossed with the Hive folder. That's the new Beehive embossing folder that came out with the Heart and Home set. And then I have my other piece that went with my example card here. So see here, these two pieces. So again, you can make 2 cards out of 1 sheet of paper. And they will both look different. So this is kind of how it's going to stack up here, ladies. So let's get to making it. We're going to attach our Flirty Flamingo. I love this color. I think it's so pretty. And it really does bring out the other colors, I think. So here we go. We're going to put this on our card base. And again, we're going to take our liquid glue and we're going to adhere our beehive piece. And you could probably use either side of this if you chose to. I wanted the bumps going up. So now that piece will get layered down. And you can always take any one of these card ideas, ladies, and deck them out however you'd like. I mean, if you want to put more embellishments on them, feel free to do that. I think sometimes maybe we go overboard and then the simplicity is taken away. But you could most definitely do whatever you chose to do. Now I will give you a hint. When I cut my flowers today, I cut it as a regular base, and then I had already cut it in half, so I had to do some finagling on what I needed to cut off. So it's just a tad bit off, but you can't really tell. So this is I'm using this thank you. And then I thought those lines were really kind of cute to kind of like scribble lines under sometimes when you write and you want to accent something, so you scribble the lines. And I thought, ooh, that looks kind of cool to put on the bottom of that thank you. And then I die cut this with the layering hexagons that are in that die set. And then I'm placing that on there. And then I thought, okay, how can I jazz this up but not really put too much weight on it? I love this metallic mesh ribbon that we have, and it is also carrying over into our new catalog. So I'm glad about that because this is very lightweight and it's not adding a lot of bulk to your card. So all I did with this was I kind of pinched it in the center, and I'm going to tape it so that it's kind of coming out my right side. And I'm going to use a piece of our Scotch tape. Everybody has Scotch tape laying around in their house. Whoops. So I'm going to Scotch tape that to the back, just like so, just to hold it in place because I know that it's going to be stationed, or, you know, I'm going to adhere it with something else. And that's going to go there, but I think I need to move it down just a tad bit. I think I have too much of a loop at the top because I don't want it to be overbearing. Okay, so here's my little loop, and I'm going to stick it out from the right hand side up towards the top, and then tape it down. And I am using dimensionals on this one just so that that ribbon kind of pops up on there. And I'm going to take and trim off the ends. I didn't need that much. However, I kind of tried it with a small piece and it was like, yeah, okay, that didn't work out so well. So I'm just kind of cutting it off on an angle. You can do it however you want. That's trash. Now we're going to use some of our dimensionals. And I know I brought dimensionals out here with me. Here they are. And my Take Your Pick tool, my favorite little tool here. And I did put my black marks on my backing so that I would know when I pulled those backings off. And because that mesh ribbon is so fine, you just kind of have to work with it and make sure that you don't pull it up off of your card when you're pulling off that that backing. I do like marking my dimensionals so that I know I've got the sticky back off and I'm not touching them actually. So we'll get those two backings off of those two. Alright, come on now, you don't need to stick too much for me. Get out there. They get stuck when they don't want to move for me. Okay, and now we're just going to set this kind of right in the center of our card. It's kind of hanging off the bottom down here. I'm just going to give it a little snip of a trim. You want to make sure that your scissors are nice and sharp and they don't have any sticky stuff on them, because that sticky stuff will stick to this metallic mesh. And, okay, so that is that one. So as you can see, on this one I put my point going up, and on this one I put my points going to the side. So either or, it doesn't matter. Now for the inside on this, this is what I thought was so cool. When you use the Hello Beautiful stamp set, I'm going to use this big blob, I call them, and we are going to then put a greeting that says, first of all, you're amazing. So it says, thank you. First of all, you're amazing. And then you have plenty of room to write why you're thanking that person. Perhaps there's somebody from church or your bank or somebody that does a lot of extra work for people and they don't always get recognized. I know we have several at our church that they go above and beyond. Now I did stamp off, so we're going to attempt to do that. This is a polymer, so I am going to use my mat here to give me some padding. Oh, excuse me, ladies. So I'm going to ink up my, am I up too far? Up?
You have to come up.
Ink up my stamp, and I'm just stamping off on my notes. Straighten out my card and press down. See how cool that is? I really like that. Now I'm going to take the first generation of my greeting, and I'm not going to stamp off because I want it to be dark, and I am going to stamp that right in that blob. So there we have it. So thank you. First of all, you are amazing, and now you can write your own little thank you inside that card. Yes, Cherie, it is called Hello Beautiful. I'm sorry if I didn't hold it up right for you. Okay, and this will be carrying over. Okay, it just will not be sold as a bundle, but it does coordinate with the beautiful shape dies. Okay, so you have circles, and then you have a couple of funny shaped ones, the hexagons, and then you've got the hexagon that you can make borders with. Okay, all right, so those are our 3 cards for today. Let me get all of this moved away, and I will bring them back in so that you can see all of them. Thank you for your comments. If you like these cards and enjoyed them, give me a thumbs up. Like my Facebook page. I will be posting these out to my YouTube channel once I get them downloaded or uploaded. So there is card number 2. And then here is our card number 1. So we have a feminine version of a birthday card and a masculine version, and then a thank you card. Okay, so let me know what you think is your favorite. Shout out what your favorite one is. Because I'm always interested to know who likes what kind of card. While you're doing that, I want to show you a show and tell card that I received this week from a wonderful friend. And it just really brought a smile to my face. So I love this stamp set. And she's a dragonfly lover. So she sent me this, and she just wrote a very beautiful note on the inside of it, and it just really made me happy. So thank you very much, Cindy, for sending me that card. So Cherie likes number 3 the best. Okay. Okay, anybody else want to tell me what your favorite one is? Okay, well, if not, then ladies, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day and spending a little time with me while we stamp together. Looking forward to next week. Let's see. I don't think I'll have any more. Yes, I will have some new product that I will share with you next week on the 3 on Thursday for May. Let's see, it's 1, 2,
5th.
or on the 5th of May. So until then, ladies, y'all have a great weekend. I hope it stops raining so that if we want to work outside, we can. So we have 2 votes for number 3. I'd have to say that's one of my favorites, too. So, bye, everybody. You have a great weekend. See you next week.